In an earlier video I mentioned the idea of living thought. I was referencing Rudolf Steiner. So the difference between merely nominal thought and living thought is that nominal thought merely deals with matter-of-fact things where basically your thoughts simply stand for something. It's like it's sort of abstract, there's no emotional content, there's no investment in it, shall we say. Living thought is somewhat different, and a simple way of practicing living thought is the inner dialogue. So you have a conversation with yourself. Doesn't have to be out loud. In fact, the ones that are out loud are often about things that you're doing which are happening in the physical world, shall we say. Living thought, you're pondering, shall we say, pondering higher matters for the sake of clarity. For instance, I've talked quite a bit about integrity, and integrity is basically a variety of truth, isn't it? So you're basically attempting to discern both the nature of truth and possibly the facts of truth, and you're having a conversation with yourself, and you're seeing images as you do this. You're sort of building up a picture, and there could well be emotion involved as well. Other factors are playing into it, and memories and all these other things. So what's the significance of this? I also mentioned in a previous video the idea of the field, and I asked you to look at your own experience, because it's no good. For instance, it would be nominal thought merely to talk about the existence of a field in a sort of purely theoretical way. But if you've experienced coincidences which were significant, and you look at the probability of them occurring and you think, well, what are the chances? Well, if that happens several times, let's suppose that several times you have a 1 in 10,000 event, well, you begin to think, well, perhaps it isn't a 1 in 10,000 event if it was merely down to statistics. So it looks much more like it's an event which was guided by forces outside ourselves. We were put in a particular place with a particular person or event, and so it seems impossible that that was simply a coincidence. And as I say, if that has happened several times, well, you've got to start paying attention. So my idea there was quite simply that something arranges for our physical body to be at that location in that circumstance. So that implies a knowledge and an existence and an intelligence beyond the physical body. That being the case, when you say engage with an idea which, say, integrity, truth, benevolence, whatever it is, when you engage with that, it's not that you're building it from the ground up, from your physical existence. It's something which actually exists on a higher plane. I don't like to really use a word like that because it's sort of cliche, but the principle of integrity would exist whether we were here or not. The principle of truth would exist whether we were here or not. So clearly it's not something that's built from the ground up. It's something which has always been there in potential, which may not have an immediate manifestation in the physical world. So, but by having an inner dialogue which concerns it, we are in fact forming links with it, and we are bringing it down into this world. And to the extent that we manifest it, we're giving it, I hesitate to say a body, but we are giving it a physical reality. We may not be the only being doing this, of course, we don't know that. There may be other beings, once again using words which may mean different things to different people, but you might, for instance, want to consider the existence of beings higher than man, or at least let's call them angels or gods, or however you want to call them, that they may have a particular relationship with what we're talking about. So, for instance, there may be angels or beings who are principally concerned with love, and the principle of love is always there, but the angels incorporate it and transmit it through their living thinking concerning it. So maybe that's a bridge too far for many people, the idea that there may actually be more advanced beings or higher beings than us. But perhaps the answer is to start indulging in living thought. It doesn't cost you anything. You perhaps need a bit of peace and quiet, but it requires a deliberate effort. It's not just the sort of ramblings of the monkey mind, you know, the association one thing to another. You look and you see something, you think about it, you remember something, you see another thing and your mind goes there. It's a much more deliberate process. It's sort of a bit like contemplating something, thinking around it, considering it. So the aim of all this, of course, I hesitate to say self-improvement because it sort of sounds rather egotistical, that. Perhaps we shouldn't look at it in that way, but it's what we perhaps would prefer to express in our lives. Would we prefer to express truth and integrity, or do we just want to be a lying scumbag? You might argue, oh, there's sort of something of a reward in doing it, but you can either be a lying scumbag and die a lying scumbag, and from a certain point of view waste your life, nobody's going to miss you, you never did anything, or you can aim a little bit higher. So even what I just did with that little bit of, okay, I was talking to the camera, but essentially it is as though I was speaking to myself about something. That is an example of how you might start to generate living thought. Thank you for watching.